Greetings everyone, time for a video. This one is about hopefully repairing this lamp. My wife has a couple of lamps she bought some time ago. This one started having a problem. To give an example, I'll show you real quick what may be the problem. But first, your first thought would be when a lamp goes out, hey, the plug is out, it happens, you knock them out, or the light bulb's been out. Well, in this case, it's not the light bulb. I swapped the light bulb and it worked fine, but to prove the point, here's the same light bulb that was in it, so I'll run some power through it, and as you can tell, it works just fine. So we know it's not the light bulb, which means it's going to be the light. Now, when we were checking it, I made sure it was plugged in, even tried a different outlet, but quite frankly, I already knew it was definitely the light bulb. Sometimes though, it will actually come on. My wife told me that sometimes the light will flicker for a minute and it'll work, but then it'll cut back off. So I have not seen it do that, but it did it once for her, and she showed me. And I have no reason to doubt what she's saying. So it's plugged in, not working. And there's nothing really, I mean, it's in there, it's just not going to work, period. So I'm pretty sure there's no short in the cord, but we'll double check it just in case. So I'm going to go and get set up. Part of the trick with fixing any of these lights, and some of them might say, hey, we'll just get rid of it. Well, if it was a cheap garbage light, maybe, but this is one of a set, and we don't really want to do that. I mean, this actually isn't very old. There's no particular reason for it to fail other than this light switch is messed up. So I'll be back shortly. Alright, what I've done is I've bridged out the plug, and I've already messed around with this a bit, but usually the challenge in getting any of these, like I said, I think maybe a moment ago, or if not, is getting them apart. So in this case though, this thing screws off here on the top, and I will say this, don't mess with electronics unless you're prepared. I mean, there's an inherent risk involved, so don't do it. I'm doing this. I know it's unplugged. I don't have any issues. There's no capacitors or anything in this, though I hope there's not. But anyway, you unscrew this, and carefully, I can pull it out, and there we go. I can expose some wires. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the cords here. So I'm going to do that by doing some continuity, and I've got the plug bridged out. And then in this case, I'm going to then do just the two wires here. Hopefully I can get them. And as you can tell, you can hear it. We've got continuity. So I'm quite certain there's no break in the wire, which means there's something wrong with the switch. Now this is a really cheap thing. So I think what I'm going to do is snip these two leads and see if I can find another one of these. Run over to my local big box store and see what I can find, and if I can find the right part, then I can just go and strip the wires, run them into the new one, and then put this thing back together and move on. Anyway, assuming I find the parts, I will be back and show you the rest. Alright, it's been a few days later, and I had to order a 2-pack 3-way socket turn knob to circuit. Picked it up, I think, on Amazon. There's other places that have it, but wanted it pretty quick, so Amazon had some in stock. I got them. Anyway, nothing much really to it. Unlike the other one that that came with it, which I'll show you the difference. Hang on, I gotta turn the air off. All right, back. As you can tell the difference here, actually let me zoom in. All sorts of things here. And do some focusing, hopefully it'll focus. Okay. Right, so you can see the difference here. It's got, this thing's staked in. There's nothing really you can do. This is where the two wires were at, and then I cut them. I trimmed them off. And then these actually have screw terminals, which is nice. So, which you usually hook up the right ones and you're done. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll be back in a moment. All right, I'm back. So I've stripped my wires and pulled back a little bit there. Some of the insulation on both of them. There's no real way to tell what the other one had. They don't really tell you. I mean, I can figure it out, but these wires are not marked. Now, I've gone and identified the correct wire and marked it, but I'll show you what I did in a second. So, for our American electrical system, it's going to be different for other parts of the world probably. We have polarized plugs on newer stuff. So in you have live and neutral, or hot, if some people call it. Neutral on these polarized plugs is the bigger prong of the plug, while live or hot is the smaller or skinnier. I don't know if you can see that. Usually, you got wires and that correspond to each. So what I did, I marked this red, which is hot. I use continuity, put my multimeter in that, and then I go and I put this here in the plug. And if I go and I do this, test for continuity, and I've got a continuous circuit, so we know that this prong goes to this wire. And since this is the skinny one, it is hot or live, and now we know that's the correct one. I marked it. So we also have to do the same thing with the socket. We have to hook up the correct wire to the correct terminal. Same thing, there's an important part here. Now, in general, usually what it is the center plug on the light bulb corresponds to the center plug in the socket. And this is going to be hot or neutral, and hot or live, and the threaded part is going to be neutral. And the same thing here, this threaded part is, and partly yes for safety reasons. If there's some kind of issue, you don't want your live to be exposed. You want it to be protected and buried. And if somebody, say, touches the neutral, well, nothing's going to happen, assuming they're not grounded. And even if they are, it's okay, assuming there's nothing wrong with your electrical system. You can touch neutral and touch ground, and it's fine. Flip side, if you were touching live, you had reversed this wiring, and you touched this, and you touched something that was grounded, you get a nice nasty zap. You don't want that. So that's generally how that's wired. So we need to make sure that that's the same thing. I already know that this is it, but just to prove the point, let me go and turn this on, and you get, let's see, make sure I'm in continuity. Nope. So then we go to the center point here, and we go, I gotta make sure it's on too. Get this. Kind of hard to do it with two hands. It's not on. There you go. You also see the switch works too, which is a plus. So if you go to the other terminal, I'm hooked to the thread, hooked to this, boom, continuity. We have the circuit. You know that this screw terminal goes to the threads. So now we're going to screw it together and hook this thing back up and be done with it. So this is my, actually I'm going to put all this stuff up. Kind of got a mess here. So now I'm going to take this terminal, screw it out a bit. I usually like to wrap a little bend. It could strip more, honestly, but I think I can get it in there. And then what I usually do is, gotta make sure to catch it, screw it in. Yeah, not really liking that too much. That's not going in well. I may strip some more, honestly, so it'll wrap really good. Already stripped some, so, oh man, this thing's never, I will say this stripper, though I bought it and it's good, it's also kind of fussy and fidgety, honestly. It's kind of a pain sometimes. I don't know if I've done a review on this or not. Anyway, let's get this done. All right. This should be be it for this. Now let's see if I can feed this in. I usually like to get it to wrap around the screw and then have the screw tighten it. It is not wanting to get in there. Twist it around a bit. There, that's good. And let's screw it in here. Usually I like to have the screw catch it, twist it around a bit, tighten it up so that it's kind of pulling it in as you screw the screw into the terminal. There's probably a better way to do this, but this should be more than sufficient, honestly. Alright, and it's in there pretty good now. So, I'm going to twist it around a bit, and I'm going to try to pull cable a bit from the end and then feed it back into the slot. You can see there's a notch here cut out there for the switch. So do this, pull it in and kind of tight. There. It's in there now. And put this in here, screw it back on. All done. Kind of loose, I don't like that. Alright, now let's put the light bulb in. And I'm going to go plug it in now. And we'll see what we got here. If everything's right, this should work. And it does. Alright, so make sure it works. Perfect. There it is, fixed. All right. So that's it for this. Pretty dull and boring, honestly, but these are the kind of things that, you know, some people might throw this away. I don't know. I wouldn't. There's no point. It's stupid to do that because it's nothing wrong with it. Just took about, you know, these things were like $5. I mean, they're not expensive, so they're pretty cheap, and I got an extra, so if something breaks again, I can fix it. Anyway, hope you all like this video, and thanks for watching.